Which is better for building stronger bones? Is it walking or is it resistance training? In this video, I'll share the benefits and limitations of each for women over 50 concerned about their bone health. I'll share with you how you can get started today to confidently and without risk of fracture, improve your bone health. Hi, I'm Meg, and after reversing my osteoporosis over a 2-year period, I'm excited to be able to share with you just how walking and resistance training can be beneficial for osteoporosis. Let's start with the benefits of walking, which is a weight-bearing exercise. So it does actually help to stabilise your bones and prevent further loss. Walking can also help with relaxation and improving your mood, which can also help reduce your stress levels, and stress is the major cause of excess cortisol, which is negative for bone health. A short walk after eating can aid with digestion and reduce your blood glucose levels, helping with fighting diabetes, for example. Daily walking, particularly over uneven ground, can also improve your balance, which can reduce your risk of fracture through falls. The great thing about walking is that it's easy to get started. All you need is a good pair of shoes and a very basic level of fitness, and you're right to go. In terms of the limitations of walking, the main one is, while it is weight bearing, it doesn't help to rebuild your bones. So it's not going to actually reverse your osteoporosis. So that takes us to the resistance training, which is often also called weight training or strength training. A 2025 meta-analysis found that resistance training had actually led to improved mineral density and had improved fracture risk, particularly in the hip and spine area, which are the two main areas affected by osteoporosis. Over an 8-month period, those women were put through a heavy resistance training that was progressively increased during the period of the trial, and it went for, they had 2 sessions, each of about 30 minutes per week, and all of them were able to improve their bone density to some extent, some quite significantly. And there was only one very minor injury, which was a little bit of a back strain on one of them. There were no broken bones or anything like that. So it's a great study in terms of showing that you can build bone effectively and safely. Heavy weights apply strong mechanical load to your bones, which helps to stimulate the bone building cells. And that's why heavy weights can be very effective at helping to reverse osteoporosis. The other benefit of doing heavy weights is that it also helps to build muscle, which can improve your metabolism as well as your balance. And as we talked about before, improving your balance reduces your risk of falls, which reduces your risk of fractures, because that's about 53% of fractures in women over 50 are for when they've had a fall. So if you can reduce your risk of falls, then you've made a big difference. You can get started easily just using body weights or a light pair of dumbbells, and that's a great way to start. However, over time, you will need to lift heavier weights, and they will need to progressively get heavier over time. So at some point you will need more weights or access to a gym where it already has weights that you can lift. Because, for example, the Lift More trial, that did actually involve quite heavy weights that were about 80 to 85% of your capability to do just 5 reps times for 5 sets. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what was required. As I said, it was only a 30-minute session twice a week, so it wasn't a huge time commitment, but it paid great dividends. While resistance training is great for improving your strength and your balance, it doesn't do anything for your agility. So balance is very important for preventing falls, so reducing your risk of a fall, but so is agility. So if you can actually build in an agility component to your strength training session, that's also a great idea. So a couple of examples of some agility exercises are high knee raises as well as skater exercises. Both of these take your body a little bit out of alignment, and it requires you to act a little bit more quickly, which is very beneficial. If you happen to trip, you're more likely to be able to catch yourself because your body's used to actually that type of movement, and your reflexes are going to be much quicker. Walking won't actually help you to reverse osteoporosis, but it will help to stabilise your bone, and it has many other benefits, making it a great addition to your daily routine. Just a 30-minute walk each day can have huge benefits, and it is really something that it's worth incorporating into your day. On the other hand, resistance training has been proven to actually improve bone mineral density and reduce fracture risk. If you're able to add some balance components and some agility into that session, or into that resistance training session, then you've really got all of your bases covered. So you've got your walking, which is also improving your balance and your cardiovascular fitness, and then you've got your resistance training, which gives you the strength, and it actually helps to rebuild your bone mineral density and strengthen your bones. And given falls are the leading cause of fractures in women over 50, representing 53%, anything that can reduce your risk of falls as well as improve your bone mineral density are going to be very beneficial to improving your fracture risk. A good bone healthy regime is to include a brisk daily walk of 30 minutes, as well as resistance training twice per week that includes some balance and agility exercises in it. Think of walking as like painting the fence and keeping it neat and tidy all the time, whereas the resistance training is more about building the structural foundations of the fence and making sure it is nice and strong. After all, you want to look good and feel strong and be capable. So get started today. Don't delay. You don't need, as we've talked about, you don't need any special equipment to go for a walk or to do body weight exercises as a starting point. You can do some simple things like some squats, and depending on how your knees are, just go as low as is comfortable for you right now. That's where you are, that's where you start. And you can do some wall push-ups if you're not able to do full push-ups. You can do some deadlifts. And once again, you can do it without any weight to start with until you get your technique right. And you can do some shoulder presses quite easily you can use a couple of books or a couple of water bottles. It doesn't matter. The point is to get started, because once you start, you're then on the road to building your stronger bones. And then once you actually have some technique down pat and you've got yourself a little bit more into the routine of exercising, it's then easier to then potentially join a gym or get a trainer to actually help you implement a strong routine twice a week. The important point is that fractures are not inevitable. Often you do need to have a fall to even have a fracture, so most people don't just spontaneously get a fracture. I know that it can happen where you've got severe osteoporosis, but for most of us, it's more about if we have a fall that we're going to be at risk of having a fracture due to our osteoporosis. So as well as doing things to improve your bone mineral density and the strength of your bones, it's also important to do those other exercises that improve your balance and agility to reduce or to significantly reduce your risk of a fall and thereby reduce that risk of fractures. It's important to remember that fractures are not inevitable. You can make these changes starting today, and that will lead to a much healthier lifestyle and a much healthier body for you. Thanks for watching. Please like if you enjoyed this and subscribe if you'd like to see my next video.